There you go. How can we do that?
It's in the process. We should be live any second.
Well,
We are live.
5, 4, 3, 2, 5, 1, 0. From the land of Oz to the land of Narnia, we come from you from the land of hell, which is considered a beautiful place called Cowles County. We appreciate that and thank you very much. It's Friday, June 2nd.
Friday, June 4th, 2021. It's
I'm so far off.
John's birthday.
John Jacob Jinglehammer.
No John that's playing tonight on Friday Night Live. He's a harmonica player. He's a hell of a guy. It's his birthday, so we got to treat him good tonight.
Good. Well, that's awesome. Well, his name is my name too. That's why I was thinking. John. Yeah. Remember that old song, John Jacob Jingle?
Oh yeah.
His name is my name too. Whenever we go out, the people always shout, John Jacob Jinglehammer Schmidt. La 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 la.
Yeah, that's a classic. We had a guy named John J. Bush, and we sang it about him. He didn't.
Hey, you know what? I know that guy.
Didn't like it. He didn't like it.
I bet you didn't. I got a lot of friends named John. John was the most common name through biblical times, I think, until 1975, probably. So I don't know if anybody names their kid John anymore or not.
Well, he and I had a dust up in junior high in front of about 100 people right in front of the Huntington entrance. And so I think he wants a rematch.
Brian, what's a dust up?
It's a Donnybrook. It's fisticuffs. It's one of these.
Ooh, the fisticuffs is a good term that I highly enjoy. That was something my mom used to say. Instead of it was always an event. It was a fisticuffs. So I was like, and my dad, I guess, because when I was a cop, it was a fisticuffs, literally.
Yeah,
like fisticuffs.
That might even be what it's from. But he learned a valuable lesson that day.
He did. He tell you. Learn not to pick on you.
Leave the little guy alone. Leave the little guy alone. That's a lesson I've learned too. I don't mess with little guys.
Well, why would you? Yeah, no, that's not good.
Yeah.
I like to protect little guys.
Somebody bigger than you because they probably won't be as scary with their reaction.
Yeah, I think in particular when I was a little kid, I probably picked on different little guys, but for the most part, I did protect. I've always protected the little guys. So, and I think it's because I'm a medium to smaller size guy, and I never even thought about being a little guy.
Yeah,
it's just funny.
I was little. I wrestled in the lowest weight class in 7th grade, so 78 pounds.
78 pounds. Wow. What grade was that?
7th. By 8th grade, I was 86, so I was a big guy.
Wow, that's awesome. So when did you make it to your weight of 96 pounds now?
No, now I'm about almost 150. I'm actually lower than my college weight, but higher than my high school weight. I graduated at 130. No, 135 awesome. Maybe.
Yeah, I think I was 186 when I graduated, and now I think I'm a little more than that, but not much. Like I'm at 190 probably, which sucks because that's too much for me. I really should be down about 170.
Well, you probably remember guys that would be like senior year, they'd wrestle 103. There were some really small dudes out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I went to. Yeah, my best friend Zach Taylor. So can I say that name out loud? Anyways, he wrestled. He went to Worlds in wrestling as a child because he he wrestled. He was awesome, and there's hardly anybody to wrestle at that weight,
Yeah.
So you make it up pretty quick, but I mean, don't get me wrong, he was dang good.
Well, yeah, if he went to world competition, plus he's strong and he's got a low center of gravity. He's probably hard as hell to take down.
He was hard. He was very hard. We went at it once in a wrestling match, Tim and I couldn't pin him to save my life, and he just stuck to my chest sideways. Yeah. And I couldn't get him off me. It was like, I'd stand up, move around, whatever I could do. But he was like a stuck on me, man. It was like I just couldn't move. It's
That's
crazy, but
incredible core strength because everything's
no,
coming
yeah,
off that core. Yeah, it's almost like it's like you said, it's stuck to you, like that slime stuff that gets around you and you can't. Those
exactly. He was just like,
tentacles.
and it was he wasn't long enough for me to grab something to move it. It was just like stuck on me. It was like, oh,
Yeah. I
so yeah.
wrestled this one guy at a party, actually outdoors at a swimming pool, but he had a different quality. He was one of those wiry guys that no matter how you twisted him, his body would twist around and be normal again. You could twist his body all the way around and he'd flip and you
Oh,
just
he
couldn't
was
stop him.
a lanky guy,
He was elastic as hell, but he didn't
elastic,
have the
yeah.
grip, but he had the ability. You couldn't get him down because his body would
Wiry is
spin.
he's
Oh man.
wiry, yeah. Wiry guys are tough to. I mean, they're all tough. They all have their own little, things that
Yeah,
you could use against you. But
he was one of the first guys to do the classic that I always talk about. He told me he won state twice, and this was back in like '79. So I did a little research. He didn't win once. So I never bugged him about it. I let it go.
yeah, people have a tendency to say things, and as long as you know the difference, it's fine. I actually
He does.
prefer.
He didn't know the difference.
No, you did.
Yeah,
So I prefer
I
that.
didn't care. He was legit. It's sad that he had to lie about his accomplishments because he was legit.
Yeah, but what I mean is that as long as you know the
Yeah.
difference, then you don't even. Someone could tell you that I own him $500,000, and be like, okay, they won the lottery. Great. Well, good for you. I mean, be on your own thing. Don't come here and try to promote something in front of me that's not true. But
Oh
as
yeah.
long as you know, then you're like, okay, this person's a liar. They have issues. They have issues about their personality, their low self-esteem, or whatever it
Yeah.
is that they're dealing with. You can lie to me all you want, but just be just be aware that I probably know better,
Yeah.
and I'm being
Well,
very nice by not ratting on you.
athletic accomplishments are very difficult to achieve. So that's kind of why it get pet peeve with me.
Yeah, no, I get it because people take most of their lives working on something like wrestling or
Yeah.
martial arts or whatever it is, track and field, whatever. If you get a gold medal in something, it means you've run the gauntlet. You've done a lot, and people need to be praised for what they've done, but you don't get praised for lying. You know.
Well, I'm not lying when I say I took last in the hurdles 5 times my senior year.
Well, I
And
should have I should have raced you because I should have raced you because I would have took last, Brian.
well, yeah, I was trying to find another guy to race because we had 3 guys. There was only 3 guys in the race, so I got a point. But I'm in the yearbook after winning pole vault every meet. Pretty much, I lost a couple, but most meets I'm in the yearbook losing the hurdles by 20 yards. It's
Mm.
hilarious. That's the one picture the girl. She must have been mad at me at that point. She's going through. Oh, here's one.
I think that I have a letter for. It's so funny how it is. I don't even know. Either have a letter for singing,
Oh, that's
or
cool. There's
or
nothing
have a
wrong with
letter,
that.
or have a letter for being a cheerleader, which is funny because
That's cool.
I was the
My
first.
son Keenan has a letter for choir.
Yeah, yeah. So I definitely because I did ensemble through my whole years and stuff too. So
Yeah,
um,
that's awesome. I love that. I think that's a great program. And I don't know who your teacher was, but they had a good one when Keenan was there.
well, when I was there, let me phrase that. My favorite teacher was Merv Provogel, who was in
Oh,
middle school, and he was a baritone. He sang like an angel, and he unfortunately he weighed around 400 pounds for a short guy. Well, not 400 pounds, probably about 350 though. He was a very round guy at one time. Um, but yeah, he was a great singer. And then I had Mr. Walworth after that, and Mr. Wall. This is at RA Long in Longview, Washington, by the way. I had Mr. Walworth, by the way. So Mr. Walworth um, is a great singer himself, even to this day. I think he's in some jazz bands of his own.
Oh, good. Let's get him on Friday Night Live, man. I'd love to hear
We could do that. You never know. I mean,
Yeah. Well, those teachers are amazing. But Merv Pavogel, he's a bit of a local legend. I remember him growing up, always singing at symphonies and different things. Columbia Theater. Yeah, he was something else. We had a gal named Kathy Jones, used to be a big singer around town in the 80s. She was an opera singer, I believe.
And Mr. What did I say his name? Mr. So Mr. Pavogel, I had Mr. Maherg for a while.
Oh, yeah.
Because Maherg actually was the Mark Morris teacher, but we had for a year or two we had to switch and go together, Ari Long and Mark Morris together. And he was a great guy, but I never gotten that vibe with him, that teacher student relationship type vibe, like a good one. I mean, I was such a handful back then. I'm surprised Mr. Pavogel didn't just squash me, just like coof. Matter of fact, he may have given me a punch or two one time, actually, because I deserved it. I was a jackass and interrupted class. And I know that Mr. Walworth definitely about gave that guy a nervous breakdown. So it was free time, and for me, and I like to act out. Apparently, I was I don't know, I was just a moron in class and had a lot of problems. It was like, couldn't sit down and didn't shut up. But I remember we went on a choir ride to Canada, and the guy sitting next to me, he was this is like 9th grade. The guy next to me, we get to Seattle. He bails. Where you going? He goes, my sister lives about a mile that way. I'm gonna go visit her. He just bailed out of the bus. And boy, you talk about people, cops and everybody else in the world just trying to find this lost kid now. He wasn't a lost kid, but but it wasn't good. We actually, the funny thing is that we didn't tell Mr. Walworth until we got to Canada that Jake had jumped off in Seattle.
Wow.
It was horrible. Yeah. So I know in particular that guy, Mr. Walworth, tried his darndest for us, and he was a good guy. But we just had some ruffians in the class, and I was probably one of them. So I don't know, but it was fun.
Back when my kids were in middle school, they had a band teacher. I won't say her name, but she was known for her profanity, and it got in the paper. But she was a really good band teacher. Yeah, she'd throw out some bombs once in a while. Yeah. But there were a lot of jokes about it. We used to do skits. The kids and I would do skits about her flipping out, like Harvey Keitel teaching band and stuff.
Well, I could see that. I mean, honestly, I don't know how you can be a teacher for middle school. Or even high school, the beginning years of high school. These kids are going through hormonal changes and having, if you're in a rough neighborhood, or if you're like don't have a good background, the home life, then you're likely to basically have a little more of a difficult time in a classroom setting. Yeah. So maybe they should start doing Zoom choir classes. You never know. I don't know if you could sound the same, but it'd be cool. I mean, why not?
Yeah.
But no. What was your favorite class in high school?
Probably senior year American literature.
American literature?
Yeah, the teacher acted like I knew stuff. She was Miss Cooper, and she would ask me questions about books. And I will admit, a lot of girls became interested in me because they thought I was a jock and kind of a ruffian, but the fact that I knew American literature, that helped a lot. I had great discussions with a lot of gals because of that.
No, that's good. Yeah, heck yeah, because you got both the brains and the and the spots, and the brains and the muscle. That's all you need, buddy.
Yeah, it was like cruising kind of. I'd come in from PE, so I'd have the shower, the wet hair. looking like I just done athletic competition, then I would talk about John Steinbeck.
Ha, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why she picked me out. I think she knew I was a troublemaker, but she said something the first day about asked me a question about literature, and I had a good answer. And man, we got along good.
It's funny. I just realized for my first nonprofit, well, yeah, basically it started was in high school. There was a class I had. It was like a home ec class, right? And they wanted some piece of equipment, but we couldn't afford it. And I said, "Well, I have a connection. A friend of mine owns a store over here." Boy, I tell you what, this is going way back now. It just dawned on me that holy
That's
crap,
good though. That's a
my
good
my friends
origin.
my friends' parents have a store over here, and they sell clearly Canadian. It was like 'cause they weren't allowed to sell stuff. They would not allow us to sell pop or buy pop anymore at the school. They took it away for a while.
Oh yeah.
So I was able to get healthy foods, Nutri-bars, and oatmeal bars, whatever it was, and clearly Canadian. And we sold that in the classroom and in between classes for other classes. We raised a few $100 in about 6 months and paid for our equipment. So I just dawned on me that wow, that was my idea.
Yeah.
I was like
Now
wow.
what's clearly Canadian? Just a water?
No, it's a whiskey. And no, it's a water. It's a
So
flavored
like
water.
flavored water, the early flavored water.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, flavor.
wild.
Yeah, spark. But it was a good one. It was, yeah. I forgot all about that until right now. Just doing that, that's crazy. That was one of my weird ideas, and we raised a few $100 and got our piece of equipment paid for. So that was cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a good origin story.
Yeah, and that gal actually, the teacher at the time, who I thought was the cutest teacher in the school, was Miss Miles, and now she's married to. She's at Kelso High School. Actually, I think she's my sister's boss. That's hilarious. Wow. Yeah, that's just odd story that I just remembered. But yeah, speaking of things you remember, I have questions for you still from yesterday.
Yeah.
We didn't get to finish, and these ones,
It's
these
funny
ones are
though. It's funny you brought that up because I was thinking the other day about the first time I did a fundraiser, an event, and it was a Ronald McDonald carnival at my house, and we earned $23 for a local charity or Ronald McDonald House or whatever. It was cool.
yeah, that's awesome. Now I didn't know, and we talked about this once before, I think, but I did not know they had those things going on, and I'm not sure if I was a fundraiser, but my neighbor always said, "I remember you the first time on you had a fair going on in your backyard." And I'm like, "What are you
Yeah.
talking about?" And my sisters had a fair in the background. It was like I think money
Yeah.
went to it. They probably did one. If it was a fundraiser, they probably did like Girl Scouts. They did.
Yeah, probably was. That was kind of cool. Tradition back in the old days. You'd see it on Ramblin' Rod, and he'd say, "Do a Ronald McDonald picnic for charity," and you're like, "Oh wow!" So
You know,
yeah, that was wild.
one of the funnest things that I can recall seeing for years was just my sisters and their troop of girls. And I don't know how many, there wasn't that many of them, but in 1976, they being that it was the 100 year, yeah, no, 200 years. So 1776. It was in
Yeah,
1976. They went around and they painted all the fire hydrants
yeah, I remember that.
a character. It's a smiley face, like he had arms, like a little weird
Yeah,
character. Yeah, the hat and stuff. You remember that?
yeah, they did a lot of red, white, and blue fire hydrants,
Yep.
and then they painted garbage cans down on Commerce, and people were trying to mail their letters. That was a hilarious unintended consequence.
What were they doing?
They were mailing letters in the garbage cans because the garbage cans were so nice. Everybody is, yeah, it was a bit of a problem. It was rectified quickly.
That's hilarious. That is
I
hilarious.
think it was in the paper.
Huh, we'll have to look into that. But yeah, I remember my sisters, and then they painted every fire hydrant in the area. It was
Yeah.
I think now there's a lot more. I think it's like there's one every half a mile or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I distinctly remember walking up Cascade Way to head up Columbia Heights and passing those mailboxes that were painted. They had everybody had painted mailboxes, red, white, and blue. It was incredible.
Yeah, that's cool.
Great feeling back in 76, 200 years.
Well, we have a huge 100-year anniversary coming up next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 years.
Oh, yeah, 2 years. Whatever.
They'll probably do it next year. They might be doing it now.
Might as well.
That's what they say now. The new trend is the year doesn't matter. Just say it's 100.
Yeah. And we have to celebrate 1,000 years today, actually.
Yeah.
No, that'd be good. But I'm not sure what in particular is going to be happening. I know we have some friends working on that somewhere, but
well, last year was the 100th anniversary of R.A. Long taking the train to Kelso and talking to the people and looking the place over. His first look.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I wonder.
We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it on Zoom, but his feed wasn't working. So
I want to find out what the school colors were for Longview. This is there's one school one time it was Longview High.
I think it's red and black. I think they've always been red and black.
Like R.A. Long?
Yeah. R.A. Long's kind of an kind of is Longview High School. Mark Morris is the second one. They did the powdered blue.
Yeah. No, I get that. But it'd be cool to kind of do a lot more things in Longview that were those colors, I guess.
I bet it was because I've seen old pictures of long before 1958 that I think I've seen color pictures. I'm not sure. I have a memory of seeing color pictures from the 50s that had red and black. But you could always ask. I don't know who would. You could ask Dennis Weber.
Oh yes, he would probably be a good one for that. But let's go outside of ourselves here and not talk about our own little town because nobody wants to talk.
Why not? Yeah, they do. I do. See, that's where you're wrong. I want to know about every small town. I don't want to know about New York. I already know about. I've heard so much about L.A. and New York. People want to know about small towns. I want to know about like Sandusky, Ohio.
Yeah.
Well, I went to a place called Azalea in Oregon, and that might have had 100 people.
Well, I think
went to the general store.
I think the town just west of Cathlamet is what is that?
Skamakaway.
Skamakaway, yeah. That's a interesting little place. Like it's like you drive in, it says entering Skamakaway, and by the time you get to the other side of the other side of that sign, it says exiting.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah, there's some great little towns. There's a Boring, Oregon. I've never been there.
Yeah, I bet you there's like cocaine somewhere too.
Yeah, people like the little weird name towns.
Yeah, I think that's cool. I mean, I like those places in particular. They're fun to visit, and where I have never been. I want to, and you said that this place up here somewhere has the same type of elements, but they have, and down in Oregon they have where it's like a portal, or they're not portal, but
vortex or something.
The vortex of Portland, yeah. Portland vortex. I've never been there, and everything is kind of shifted askew. And
yeah, I thought that was in Southern Oregon, but I'm not sure.
It is. It's like it's below Salem and above Brookings. So
okay.
We're in there.
Yeah, I love Brookings. I went in there. There's a Chetco River, and it's warm water. My mom told me about it, so I went there when I hitchhiked to California. We stopped in Brookings.
Yeah, no, I've always wanted to go into hot water springs or warm water springs. They have natural, just warm water or hot water. It's just super cool. I think I'd love to do that. I've never been to those natural springs. But also that one movie that came out with Pierce Bronson and the eruption. What was that? Volcano or something? Or
yeah, I remember that? I did one. I can't remember what it was called. Yeah, it might have been Volcano.
It wasn't 1984. I remember that, or 1980.
Yeah, Pierce Brosnan did that volcano movie, and somebody else did one at the same time. That's how they
Yeah,
do it. Yeah, they'll
yeah,
do two of them.
yeah. They use one mountain for it. If they don't want to blow up more than one mountain, they
Yeah.
can do it.
Well, back to lying. I was watching this thing about Steven Seagal, this guy that choked him out and then made Steven Seagal crap his pants,
Mhm.
And Steven Seagal went on to dispute it, and he did blatant lies, and you could tell. He said he was hanging out with Bruce Lee, but there's no evidence he ever even met Bruce Lee. He would have been 20 when he died, 21.
Oh, yeah.
There's a
I
whole
don't.
genre about Steven Seagal making shit up.
Yeah, I know, but I don't
And
know
he was
because
legitimate early in his career. That's a weird thing. He was full on legitimate, and then he
well,
turned
yeah,
phony.
yeah, he was, and so that's why you can kind of say what you want nowadays. Nobody can really,
Yeah.
you can say that, but who's saying the truth, who is saying the truth.
Well, the truth is easy to verify. Bruce Lee wasn't where he said he was, and Steven Seagal wasn't where he said he was during that time period. So that was an easy one.
Dante's Peak.
Oh, Dante's Peak. Yeah, it's a good one. The other one might have been called Volcano. Yeah, see, that's the thing, though. Some people go on the internet or on news and they just lie, but it's easy to verify some of them. You're like, no, that never happened. Well, you had
But
a
a lot
guy,
of times,
we won't say the subject, but you had a guy that came out with a blatant lie on Facebook about some political stuff, and you could have just clicked a link to him
mhm.
instead of because people, what they'll do is they'll come at me with like name calling. It's like, no, just hit me with a link. You don't have to tell somebody they're an idiot. You can say, boom, here's the
Yeah,
facts.
exactly. Boom. That's
And
the
then
easiest part about that.
yeah, and then they'll say they don't trust the mainstream media, so you get them a medical journal.
Yeah, I know. And then you get in who wants to see the picture of the UFO. Oh, speaking of which, I am and this could all be lies too. I think that the
Yeah, this
Illuminati
one's
is, but no, this morning, apparently an hour ago, more information came out about the UFO stuff. So
yeah.
I'm not sure when it'll be over, but it should be more stuff coming through this whole month. They've got stuff
Yeah.
coming out with the UFO stuff and showing that it's real. But one of the reasons why they have not talked about how real it is yet, because when they know it's not, made by the American government, they could be admitting to being not being the superpower. So it
Well,
could be.
actually, I think it's made by the American government, and they're just playing
Well, it
with us,
could.
messing with our heads. I don't think
Well,
they want
what
us.
I mean
I don't.
is,
Yeah, I think they are making it. It's all their stuff, and they're trying to act like America's not making these super weapons.
well, and it's a possibility, but
Yeah.
they're trying to say that if it's not them making it, we don't want to admit to Russia or China that we don't know how to know where it's coming from, and that we can't keep up with them,
Yeah.
because
So
that's the whole thing was.
it's more double speak from the government. So
Yeah, well, the race to the moon was a pretty
yeah.
big thing, and so
Yeah.
we don't ever want to admit that we aren't the
Well, we
top
should though. We
dog.
actually should. We got to be honest with ourselves, but that's okay. It's the government just making shit up again, but that's what they do. America would walk out and say, "Yeah, I won state in wrestling twice." That's America.
Oh
The
yeah, and
government,
they'll
the
do it
government.
again. Well,
We have a great country, but our government sucks.
America says they beat the Vietnam War. We've never lost a war. Well,
Three
actually,
guys say that. Yeah, there's three guys that say that. We admit we took the loss, but we came back in Gulf War. Gulf War One.
Gulf War 5, whatever it is. Point is that we're still there. Well, we're getting out of it now. Thank goodness. Thank you, Joe Biden, I guess. But I think, yeah, I don't know.
I believe we won the first Gulf War in the '90s. I feel good about it.
Well,
We
yeah, I
got
remember him.
we got Saddam out of Kuwait. That's all we
I
wanted to
remember,
do.
I
Boom.
remember, I remember Mr. Bush being on the flight deck of that was the Missouri. I'm not sure, and he says, "War or mission accomplished." And then all those guys stayed there for like a couple of years, so it's kind of like
Oh, is that George W?
George W. Bush.
Yeah,
But he
he
flew
said
in.
that in the second Iraq War.
But he flew in. Yeah, you're right. But he flew in there on the plane, and that was pretty cool. I was impressed by that.
Well, he was telling the truth actually, because the mission was for him to go there and say that. That was the only mission he was talking about, not
I
the
didn't know
war.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't know that.
His
So,
mission was to get on there and say it.
well, you know what? See,
Let's
you
give him
educated me.
what I got to give the guy credit for one thing.
What's that?
After 9/11, he comes out and he throws out the first pitch. He doesn't wear a bulletproof vest. He gave a symbol of strength to America.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, actually, no. He was pretty strong at that point, and America had just come together.
Yeah.
Any color, any race, everybody was America at that moment.
Well, it was a great case of a president doing what we needed him to do at that moment. It was pretty cool because he was nervous throwing the first pitch. He's an older guy, and
Yeah. But I know that for a little bit there, African Americans were like, we're no longer the suspects here. Go on without your day, because all of a sudden it was like anybody who was from East India or not East India, but
Middle Eastern.
Middle Eastern. If they were Middle Eastern, then you were, but you were they. But normal people going day by day, they could go without. They go beyond them without. They go on their way without having to worry about stuff. Then also we come back from the war and we start being petty against one another again. So for a while there, America seemed to be all together. It's good.
Well, next year we're going to be angry and resentful against Czechoslovakians. We try to pick a different group every year. Czechoslovakians, we're going after them hard.
I think that we're going to be more of possibly like being racist towards anybody green or gray. I'm not sure about that, but it's a possibility. This UFO thing is coming out. It's kind of weird. So
yeah,
check your Dogecoin. And the thing is that the aliens, I do believe, they actually use Dogecoin as their currency now. So that's where it's going to work.
Yeah. Well, it's been going up and down. It's hovering in the 30s, but I'm in the 1 year plan.
Oh yeah, but I think that Elon Musk is an alien, and that's pretty much that's where his knowledge comes from. He's an alien. But hey, I have some more of these stupid questions for you.
Yeah.
So now listen, folks, I get these questions to Brian every day. I've got a billion of them, and they come from all over the internet, all over the globe, out of my mind. I'm not quite sure where they come from today. Actually, this one's finished up from a Pinterest post that came up. And we didn't get a chance to finish it yesterday. So
yeah. Well, I got to tell everybody this spot is brought to you by Empowerment Solution, and you might ask why it's empty, because you get out of it what you put into it, just like life. Thank you.
Hey, there you go.
Selling bottled water without the water.
And the LB hour, which is actually known as the pound hour.
Well, that's Don King, the promoter, that he'd be proud of selling bottled water that has no water in it.
Do you still my coffee cup? I see right there.
Well, this was given to me by a friend during the Christmas season years ago, and it's a great one. It's joyful.
Joyful.
Christmas can be a joyful time.
It's the best time. It's the best time of the year. Okay, what's your favorite Christmas song?
Oh, Sting's version of "I Saw Three Ships." It's just beautiful. That's saw three ships come sailing in.
I think classically, well,
I don't even know what that means. What ships were coming? Why were the ships coming? I don't know.
The ships came sailing in on Christmas Day.
Did it have the wise men in it?
Yeah, apparently. Yeah.
There you go. I heard they flew, but that's
yeah. I
depends on which Bible you read.
Yeah, exactly. But either way, it's a good song.
You got to hear the Sting version sometime. It's just his voice just matches it perfectly.
Yeah, no, I'm all for that. I like the Beatles' Best Time of the Year, whatever it is.
Oh yeah,
that's a good one. And then also I like Jingle Bells by Frank Sinatra.
Oh,
Jingle Bells.
Oh, Paul McCartney had that one. Hope you're having a wonderful Christmas time.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking. Yeah,
wonderful Christmas time. It's a bouncy song.
Yeah, no, most definitely. But so back to these questions. I hate to do it, but got to get these out of here. Who has or had the best marriage that you have seen up close?
Well, I don't know for sure who's the best, but I do remember Pat Cuban and Judge Jill. I thought they had an interesting, pretty good marriage. The way they talked to each other was respectful.
Well,
That's about all. I'm trying to think. There's got to be somebody out there.
I meant in your life, like you, is there somebody that you admired their marriage?
Yeah, I guess. Some. I'm trying to think of one. Oh yeah, Mr. and Mrs. Hanks, the one that passed away, Mr. Hanks recently. My neighbors, I liked the way they worked things together. They were a strong team. I did have I was in a group, a Kiwanis group, and there was a couple there, and I thought they had a great marriage, but I got more information, and it was sad.
Yeah, well, there's always
So you
more.
don't know. You don't know. It could be the one that fights all the time. It could be the
Right?
couple that's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, never know. Well, it's like I know an uncle. I have an uncle that he works very well. He's retired now, I guess, but yeah, but he still works very hard to this day. He worked his butt off. Oh my goodness. Um, he made a ton of money,
yeah,
and his wife, my aunt, was always there by his side. Um, it's funny because I was just thinking to myself on how much I appreciate them being together as a team forever
yeah,
and ever. And I love them. They're great people. But you know, it dawned on me. I'm like, well, y- life is more of a holistic thing. You can't become extremely great on one thing and then not miss out on something else, because that's what happened. It's like while they were so while they were so focused and hyper focused on doing well on a business and focusing and on that, expanding their business and putting this mark on the world. Apparently, some little stuff in the back gets dropped, and then the next thing you
yeah,
know is, you're missing your kids' graduations. You're missing stuff. So you really, there's no way to make it yourself the best of something without losing something else.
yeah,
But for the most part, they are still loving to this day. And I mean, I'm sure in particular, there's been a time or two where they said, we're going to probably go through a divorce and stuff. And they decided not to, but they're the best couple that I know as far as longevity and, they're just partners and buddies.
yeah.
Like they're like two parts of the same person. So
Yeah, that's a tough question because, like you said, they may put off a couple may put off they're a great couple, but then you talk to one of them and they're like not into the other one, and then you talk to the other one, they're not into them. So
yeah,
yeah, I think yeah, I don't really I have nobody that stands out too much, but
yeah. I mean, I think I liked, like publicly, George and Gracie were uh, a great Hollywood couple.
yeah,
George Burns and Say Goodnight, Gracie.
yeah.
That was a cool couple. But I'm certain that she had to be riddled with sicknesses because of his cigars and his bad jokes. So there you go.
Well, both of
Um,
my brothers had I thought interesting and really good marriages, just for totally different reasons and totally different situations, but. Uh, One was very conventional, very, you know, close and not a lot of disruption. The other one, my brother went through a lot of stuff, a lot of things, and they broke up and came back, and there was an enduring quality of uh, lifelong, bringing it back after no matter what happens, they found a way to be back together. So that's pretty powerful.
you know, I know people who have. It's funny because I don't ever hear it from the men's side of me, but I know women who have, had battered. They were people who were battered, right? And I think to
Mhm.
myself, how on God's green earth did these men ever get a woman? Because
They prey
I,
on their weaknesses. They're predators.
yeah, they're predators, exactly, 100%.
Yeah.
And I could never the concept of being around somebody I grew up where my dad would have beat the shit out of me if I would hit my sisters. You know what I mean? Um, we battled a lot. It was I could never hit them, but apparently, there were curling irons and everything else thrown in this house. My mom threw them, and my sisters threw them, and there was knives thrown. And there was all kinds of stuff. It's crazy, but we had a wild house. But as far as my sisters go, they tried to smother me a couple times and take the life out of me. I thought they tried to kill me with broccoli. They tried to shove carrots in my mouth, and I wasn't gonna, it's a weird thing to do, but we fought over the stupidest things. It's a good, loving family, but I mean, to actually batter somebody, to hit somebody out of anger, I've backhanded somebody before, probably on accident. I'm almost guaranteed that because I'm just gonna my reflexes are really quick. But to intentionally cause harm on your loved one,
Yeah.
something wrong with you.
Oh, it's terrible. It's a control thing. It's lowest form of humanity, really. One of them down
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. No, I mean that's a
I've
dominance
been meeting
thing.
with 10 guys, and probably 2 of them do it. So, maybe one.
Well, why in the hell are they? Do they get?
They get
Why do they
away
get?
with it. They're sneaky.
Yeah, but they're getting laid and they're getting relationships with
Wow,
people.
yeah. If they're married, they're not getting laid, but that's okay.
Right? Yeah, yeah. No, but I mean, it doesn't matter. The point is that somebody's accepting them, and because their self-esteem is so low, apparently that
Yeah. They
you
prey
know.
on weakness. They find somebody that's weak and they act nice. Have you seen it? You see guys doing it every day.
I know, and the thing is that I only like in my life, I only bring in people who are strong. And when I see people that are, I mean, I help others all the time, but when I see somebody who's strong, then there's a possibility I can do that.
Yeah,
But
but
if you're,
I think it's weak people. Weak people are going to do it. I mean, I got
oh yeah, no, I agree, I
I'm
agree.
weak. In some ways, I'm weak, but mentally at times, but I'd never do that.
Yeah, yeah, I think yeah. I don't know. The weird thing is narcissism in me says I'm not weak at anything, except for I know that physically I've got issues I have to deal with. So I'm weak in the fact that I'm not able to hyper focus on my own disabilities at the moment and work on them more. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that'd be good. If any men out there want to come on and talk about why they beat
We,
women, we'd love to hear
yes,
it because we need to hear their perspective. Why are you
we
doing
do, we do, because they just don't listen. That's horrible. But the point is that if some man want to come on here and explain to me why, in particular, they they find it right to beat their mate ever,
it? Yeah.
I'd be game to
Oh,
listen.
I'd listen to them, but
I wouldn't want them to say I
there's
wouldn't
no
want to be in the same room with them.
justification.
We have to zoom them in because I don't want to, be actually I didn't want to know about them.
Oh, I got to have them in person because I'm going to be the one that's preparing the coffee. So,
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the thing. Here's a little prune juice in your coffee.
well,
Yeah, but a little arsenic. But yeah.
no, I don't want
Yeah.
to kill the guy. Just put him out.
What was that movie years ago with Farrah Fawcett?
Oh, extremities. That's where she
Extremity.
did some acting.
Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah. I don't know. It just drives me crazy that the thought of somebody hurting somebody that I love. Like I had one sister who apparently got backhanded or whatever one time and pretty hard by her boyfriend. And I didn't know about it for a couple years later. They didn't tell me this stuff because I would have thought I would have found him and hurt him.
Yeah.
It was like, no, I might protect.
Yeah. They actually protected him. They didn't mean to, but that's what happens. Those guys get protected because the victims don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, they
It's
didn't
a
mean it.
very tough thing, but I've hurt people's feelings many times. So in
Yeah,
some ways, I'm no better than those guys. But there's something about physical abuse. I
yeah. I mean,
just can't deal with it.
well, I'm telling you, mental abuse as well is just as
Yeah,
bad.
I believe I've done that. So.
Mental abuse, well, I don't know if it's worse at all, but it's not good. It's because physical abuse you can see right off the bat, and mental abuse is one of those. It's the mental abuse is I'm gonna correlate it to a boiling frog. You
Yeah.
know, that's exactly it. Actually, a boiling frog. If you put the frog in a pot of water, he's not gonna jump out. If you turn up slowly, he's not gonna jump out. By the time he gets to 150 degrees, 120 degrees, whatever it is, he's boiling alive and doesn't even know it.
Yeah.
You know what I
It
mean?
might be 212 because 120 is like the bathtub.
You're right. You're right. Sorry. Well, I was at 150. Whatever.
Get
Just
that water temperature up 120.
sorry.
Got to watch
No.
that stuff. That water
But
temperature.
yeah, yeah, my hot tub's 105, so that's definitely 103. But um, yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, it's like, but that's how it is with these relationships with battering somebody. Like one time, oh, sorry, I backhanded you on accident. I'm sorry, that was just a mistake. That oh, I pushed you into the locker. Oh, I knocked you down the stairs a little bit on accident. And just like I'm Mr. Tough Guy, and
Yeah.
I'm a bully. You know what I do with bullies? They ain't gonna be bullies anymore when I find out. I mean, and that's the way it is. It's not gonna. You can't be a bully around a bully. And I think one time as a kid, I decided just to be a bully for a little bit, and I said, it's funny to have kids in my neighborhood that were like, "Oh, Lonnie I wasn't that big of a bully." And if we were out of the neighborhood, I would protect them all day long, and now we're best friends, but we're very good friends. But it's like, yeah, I mean, when you're around friends, there's a pecking order, and you have to,
Yeah.
abide by the pecking order. But I wasn't a bully, Jake, the Jake from Allstate, Fritz, Jimmy, Alan, Lee, anybody. There's a bunch of them. I don't think I was a bully, but yeah, Jeff, Robert, TJ. I'm trying to think of those people by neighborhood here. Jim. Yeah, no, all the Lewis brothers. I had so many kids in my neighborhood. I'm like trying to say no. I don't think I was a bully. Peter, Casey. Anyways, it's too funny. But
Well, let's find out how many of them beat their wives and how many of them blame you. That's all we need to do.
well, no, they wouldn't, and I think
Well, they're afraid because you're a bully.
yeah, I don't think they would. I don't think they
That's the
would.
pattern. I'm not saying you're a bully, but that is the pattern. They're afraid to say anything because you come back on them. Not you, but
Yeah. Well, that's right. I mean, my dad always told me, if you strike your sisters, I'll come back and punch you. I mean, I'll punch you. And that was it. He never punched me his whole life. And he was a boxer. He always talked about it. He'd make these comments because the comments alone stood their ground. I mean, I'd be somewhere and somebody go, "Oh, I know your dad." They'd talk about some fight and be like, "Oh my gosh, yeah." And so my dad never had to actually physically attack me at all. It was like, he did ask me once. He said, "Are you ready to step to the plate?" I was kind of like, of course, I'm an idiot, and it would put my ass handed to me, but I thought for a moment there, sometimes you just don't do it. You just, no matter what, I respect my dad too much. I was not ever gonna.
yeah.
I never could have won regardless.
Yeah. Well, I had a girl, I was 10 years old at the lake. I was at 4th of July at the lake, and some girl came up. Her brother was trying to fight me, and I pushed him out of the way, and she started trying to hit me in the face. And there were people around. It was pretty bad. She was swinging at me, and so I just kept blocking it, and finally just pushed her down, and then she scraped her hands, and they were all mad at me, and I said she tried to hit me over 40 times. I finally just pushed her away, but never hit a woman.
Okay, so
Have you hit a woman? Let's be honest. It's
that's
okay.
you just brought up a story that I actually completely forgot about. When I was a child, one of my best and dearest friends was a girl named Daphne, and Daphne was the toughest son of a gun girl that I've ever met in my life. She has no problem throwing down to this day, I bet you. She's fearless. So she would throw down and beat up a girl for me or whomever. She's like a sister to me. But when we were kids, she would beat up every neighborhood boy that was around there. It's crazy. And then she decided to come after me one time, and she's like telling me that how she's gonna beat me up. Or I'm like, you are nuts. So like you're not here to come near me, And so she came at me. She wanted to punch at me, and I whacked her hand, which in turn hit her in the nose, and blood came out of her nose and stuff. So then I was like,
wow.
I felt like a jerk. But and that's the first time she'd ever gotten a bloody nose, and I just I caused that but she learned that mess with Lonnie. Basically, it's horrible, but I love her to death. She's one of my dearest friends. But yeah, but she beat up on every boy in the neighborhood. So she was the bully. Thought she was.
I wonder
And
if
like,
she beats her husband.
well, Jeff, what do you? I don't know.
Yeah, you never know.
Well, I
Probably
know.
not, but you never know.
Well, she wasn't. Yeah, it's possible. I mean, oddly enough, I love her to death, but she was a ruffian. So
Yeah.
you know, she was a kid, and the kid. I don't think she doesn't fight anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Well,
I had.
let's segue to music. We got live music tonight. We got a guitar player. We got a harmonica player, which I love harmonica players. And then we got another singer and might have a poet. Have you heard anything back from the poet?
Hey, I played a Monica before. That's pretty good.
So you haven't heard back from the poet?
I have not, because I don't have their. I couldn't find their information, but
That's
but I
okay.
will get it right now and actually to them, make sure and see what the plan is. We have another singer that was on board for tonight. So that was Luann Gratzer. She's gonna play tonight, which is she's with Cloudshine, and or part of Cloudshine, or she was, and she's singing tonight. So she'll be there, and I'm going to get some foods. Maybe we can, and I'm gonna leave this up to you. Do you want, should I order a pizza, or if you want to do brats, something like that, little pieces of brats, barbecue outside?
Just bring it or bring it here ready to go. Because if you're gonna,
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't say I
I mean,
could
we can
order pizza.
try. We can try making food while we do the show, but that might be a little.
Well, I was thinking, no, not wow, but I mean, but beforehand, just have a little barbecue, whatever, some brats or whatever, just if you want, up to you. Starting to look nice outside,
Well,
so I can see
yeah.
this happening.
If people get here at like 5, but see, it's 6 o'clock to 7, we got to be getting
You're
the
right.
show going.
You're right. Yeah. So we just want something sitting on. Well, I'll take a little snack. No big deal. No big deal. And I'll bring over some. What time are we at, by the way?
We've got 9 minutes.
Holy mackerel!
10 minutes.
We didn't even get to the questions. I hate that.
Ask a couple. 10. Yeah, you can ask a lot of questions in 10 minutes.
But okay, let me get you another question real quick, which is, let's just, I didn't want to answer one, but what are your political views?
The correct ones.
There you go.
Well, I thought I was wrong once, but I was mistaken.
Exactly.
Okay, questions. Whoa, just testing out the megaphone for tonight. I might have to keep people in order. So give me a question.
So, what was your last boyfriend/girlfriend's best quality?
My friend's last girlfriend's best quality?
Yes.
Her
short legs. Her what? I'm kidding.
Her judgment, because she left him.
Her judgment.
Yeah, she moved on.
She left you?
Oh, I thought you said your friend's girlfriend's best quality.
No, what was your last girlfriend's best quality? Your last relationship. What was their best quality?
Judgment, that they moved on.
Really?
I'm a handful. Yeah.
Yeah.
All of my girlfriends had the judgment to move on. That's okay. That's okay. I'm happy for them. They're happy for me. Everything's good.
All right. There you go. I don't know if that's always the best. I don't know. But, I got that conversation with somebody yesterday, as a matter of fact, and about a previous relationship. And I didn't like to go there because the way that we ended things wasn't with a question mark in particular, but it was left undone. You know what I mean? A little bit. It's just where it's undone. I mean, it's done for me, but.
Well, I've only had 4 girlfriends, so.
Yeah. Well, okay.
And one of them knew that the first one knew we were too young to be a couple, really, and the second one knew that I was too immature, and on and on. Judgment. You gotta have. I like people with judgment. Like, hey, I'm gonna move on. That's good. Sometimes that's good.
Yeah. Well. Best quality.
What's one of your ex's best qualities?
Well, I'm trying to think who my last girlfriend was, whatever. But actually, I will say, I'll say my last girlfriend, which we both know who she was. Actually, I guess. Her best quality was her heart and her charity, and
That's good.
what she did for others. Yeah. Yeah. So other than that, though, she's crazy as a loon. I'm just kidding. No, no, but that was her best quality. The fact that she does God's work, and and
Oh, okay.
and that's
Took me a minute to associate. Now I got it. Yeah, that's a good quality.
yeah, yeah, kind of. But yeah, I think that was her best quality. Now I can go through a couple. I've had a couple relationships here and there, not a lot, obviously, but um, yeah. But everyone that I know that I bring into my life is a strong person. So that's always a great. That I see that in if I have a relationship with anybody, it's a strong one. They are they've proven to me that they're a strong person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they've battled some of their own demons, or they've whatever. They've proven to me over and over
Yeah,
that
that's a
they're
good point. I was thinking, I'm kind of a weak person, but then I realized that I've confronted some demons that are pretty big.
yeah,
Taking them
that's yeah,
down, taking them down.
yeah, slaying those demons. And so
You know what's
those
funny
things are
about that is no matter what obstacle I face, I go back to that junior high fight with that big guy. That's how I approach it.
right.
When life messes with the little guy, I have to rise up, and it's helped
Mhm.
me a few times. It's a good way to go, being a little bit of a chip on the shoulder.
Yeah, yeah. I've been approached when I was younger with guys who had weapons in their hands and
Yeah,
stuff, and
that's
it's like
scary.
not good. And
No, but you probably have a good response when you have fear, and like
oh,
I think you told me one
totally.
time you get calm. See, that's for you.
Yep.
That's good. For me,
Yeah.
I go Tasmanian devil, or I did when I was younger. So
Yeah.
fear can really help.
Yeah. Yeah. No, fear can definitely help, but it's like all of a sudden that little calm little you start seeing the way the air moves and things slow down, and you're like,
Yeah,
oh, okay. It's kind of
like
weird.
Peter Parker and Spider Man. Remember that day in the locker room or in the area
Oh
by the
yeah, yeah,
lockers?
yep. That's exactly. That's how you
Guys
feel.
swinging at him. It looks slow, and he could see everything in the air. That was wild.
Because your adrenaline's running and your brain's still going the same
Yeah.
level, and it's feeding all this information to you, and you see it hyper. It's kind of hypersensitivity. I don't know. It's weird.
What are you looking for in your next girlfriend if you're talking about the past?
No, the past one for the best girlfriend. I'm thinking blonde hair, brown eyes. I don't know. I'm just kidding. No, no, that's something that has to be a common occurrence in my life. Is a stronger person who's willing to jump those hurdles and do whatever hurdles they are. Because I always say in particular that a person in my life, not I don't always say, but I've said the person in my life has to be able to wear blue jeans in the day and do homeless work with the homeless, and be able to put a dress on and be the belle of the ball at the same night. Because I don't do quite as many events and stuff, obviously, as I used to, um, but that's the where I run. I run from uh, I help with Salvation Army or whatever. I help with homeless or whatever, and I do stuff with charity work on the benefits and stuff, and being part of the Chamber of Commerce and stuff. You gotta be able to look nice and stuff at all times. But business is business, and you gotta do that kind of stuff. And it's just nice to have somebody who's a partner with you. You know, Nobody's afraid to do it, to go along. I think in particular, yeah. I mean, I think in particular, I want a partner. You know what I mean? That's the biggest thing is that um, I need somebody able to stand up for their own, stand their own,
Kind of
stand their
like
own.
Bruce Willis and Sybil Shepherd in Moonlighting.
Oh, I love that show. That
They
was
fought
great.
all the time.
They fought. Well, I don't like to fight, but
No, I was just kidding. But they were
no,
partners in that detective agency. But that was a great television show. They also in real life couldn't stand each other, so it was great.
yeah, no, it was good. It was I like that show. And what year was that? I don't even know.
86, I think,
Hmm.
maybe 85.
Yeah.
It's about the time of Miami Vice. It didn't last long. Bruce Willis wanted to be a movie star, and he was ready to go.
So, what about your next relationship? What do you want to see happen? What kind of person do you want to bring in your life, Brian?
I'm not really adding people right now, but Now, if
Brian.
John the harmonica player as a new pal would be good because I love harmonica and my brother Bruce played.
Brian, you're skirting the issue.
John, I want to hang out with John occasionally. Play
Okay,
harmonica.
well, I don't think he's gonna kiss you. He might.
I don't want to kiss the guy.
Brian.
John, not looking. Not looking. John occasionally.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. That is popped on there. Anyways,
single and not looking, and it's okay. It's an unpopular stance. I even did
no,
the TED
no,
talk
it's
on
not.
it.
It's not what you're looking for because you're not looking. But what would you enjoy in your next partner? If you have an next partner, you know. But what type of a person are you looking
Well,
for?
I'd like for both of us to find a business partner that just falls into money.
Both of who?
You and me I want a business partner that any idea I come up with, this business partner turns into millions. That's there's people like that. They can't think of their own ideas, but they can turn any idea into millions. I'd like that.
So you want your next relationship partner to be that way?
I'd like it to be a business relationship where somebody can take advantage of my creativity and yours and my friends.
You are
turn it into
skirting
money.
the issue.
No, listen, this goes back to charity. You can help. We could really help the homeless. I'm looking for a girl. TED Talk said this in the TED Talk. You could say that and nobody will accept it. Like if you said I'm married and I badmouth marriage and tried to convince you out of it, you'd be mad. But if
I'm not asking you.
Somebody says they're happily single, people object and constantly just grill you on it. Happily single, not
You
looking
you just asked me a question as
I know.
back. That yes, it's called quid pro quo.
Yeah.
So
not looking. So there's no quality. Well, no, I want a business partner that can turn some of our ideas into gold.
Well, I appreciate that. But
one thing you don't realize, you got 24 hours a day. You're up for 17. A partner that you're talking about, a couple, that's 16 hours a day.
I get that.
Yeah, see, no time.
So you want somebody with low, with that is not demanding of you. So basically, you're telling me. You're telling me what you're telling me.
I don't want anybody. That's the thing. I don't want a new person in my life in that way. No romance or nothing right now.
Yeah, but so
totally against it.
You want a person who's not demanding in your life, or
no. I don't.
You don't want somebody who's gonna take. You just want. I get you. We all know what you want, Ryan.
Don't have time for
it. Okay.
No time or interest. You gotta have.
You just want.
If you're gonna be in a relationship, you gotta have time and interest. You know what I mean. Whoever you get next, if you're doing too many things, she's not gonna feel like you're interested.
Okay.
Time and interest. Without those, boom.
You just want a prostitute, basically.
No, I don't want that. The TED Talk was right. You can't accept it.
That's funny. No, but yeah. What did the TED Talk say?
It said people if they ask them, "Are you single?" Yeah, I'm single and happy with it. They will grill you for 2 hours about it. But if somebody says I'm married, you don't grill them for 2 hours about marriage. You just go, "Oh, great." People can't accept it because of their own weaknesses.
You asked the question.
No, I know. I know.
So I just did quid pro quo.
Well, I know, but I did quid pro quo. I answered, and then you kept questioning.
Well, you didn't ask the question though.
No, I said, "What are you looking for in your next relationship?" You told me, and then you asked me, and I told you, and then you just kept grilling.
Well, because you didn't answer the question.
There's no qualities because I don't have any interest in a new relationship in that way.
Well, see, there you go. That's it.
Yeah, that's what I said early.
Well, but what I'm saying is that you're not answering the question. You're saying there's no quality out there that I want somebody involved. If we had to pick somebody right now, boom, we're gonna go make somebody to say, hey, you're not even willing to say I'm willing to make somebody.
Well, I don't anticipate a next relationship, so.
Oh well, see. Okay. I think Oh.
Okay, I got a question. What are you gonna do at your next clan meeting? There's not gonna be one. I hope.
No, I stopped those,
You do go to Coal Creek occasionally, and there's people talking.
What are your
I got a question. What do you want from the show tonight? It's going to be a little wild. There's some things going on, a lot of people. You want to have a barbecue, and there's a guy that wants to come over and talk about insurance at 6:30. So it's going to be a little wild. What's your goal for tonight? keep it
My
fun,
goal for
but
tonight is just to, I didn't put together the agenda here, and we'll do that in a momentarily. But my goal tonight is just to get the music out as soon as possible,
yeah,
and to keep people entertained for put on a good show tonight. And I think that that's going to happen regardless, no matter what we do.
yeah,
And we're gonna put some fun out there because I'm certain that everybody wants to have a smile on their face. So
yeah.
we're gonna bring smiles tonight, folks. We're gonna bring them, and I hope you'll enjoy us and you'll
Yeah.
meet us tonight.
And if you get a hold of that poet, we'll
7
have
o'clock.
real. That poet will give us
Yeah.
real, true variety.
Yes. But well,
Nice variety.
it's nice, right? Okay, so I think
So
you wouldn't.
I
I
do want to
wouldn't.
tell the audience he's looking for a gal that.
I'm not looking for anybody. My
oh,
next person.
His next person, he wants him to be involved and be a partner. My next person, I want them to not exist.
No, I think I found her.
Roll out of here.
I think I found my ex-girlfriend. So
Oh, working it.
I'm not finding a girlfriend. I'm just finding a partner, friend, whatever it is. You never know.
I like it.
Anyways,
You're on a roll with this Rochambeau.
I'm always on a roll. Anyway, so let's go here. Yeah, I'm on a roll. I'm going downhill. That's the problem. Ready? Where we at? 1.
1, 2, 3. Okay, we always do fists too much. I think I'm gonna work on getting.
I know. Ready?
1, 2, 3.
Oh,
All
you
right.
got me. There you go. I figured I'd go for it. Good job. And I will see you in a bit. You have a wonderful day. Take care. Rochambeau it out. Pound.